told you that Game of Thrones left behind hidden clues, alternate endings, and fan theories that might change how you see the show forever. From deleted scenes to behind-the-scenes facts that could have rewritten the ending, we're breaking it all down. Stick around, because we're also diving into the upcoming sequels and spin-offs that will bring us back to Westeros. Let's get into it. In the land of Westeros, where noble families play a deadly game for power, the Honorable Eddard Stark is called to King's Landing to serve as Hand of the King. But when he uncovers a dangerous secret about Queen Cersei Lannister and her children, he is betrayed and executed, setting off a brutal war for the Iron Throne. As chaos engulfs the Seven Kingdoms, the Stark family is torn apart. Robb Stark, declared king in the north, is betrayed and murdered at the infamous Red Wedding. Sansa is trapped in the viper's nest of court politics. Arya embarks on a bloody path of vengeance, and Bran discovers mystical powers that connect him to the past and future. Meanwhile, Jon Snow, Eddard's illegitimate son, rises through the ranks of the Night's Watch, only to discover an even greater threat: the White Walkers, an ancient army of the dead marching toward Westeros. Across the narrow sea, Daenerys Targaryen, the last surviving heir of a fallen dynasty, builds an army and hatches 3 dragons. Determined to reclaim the throne, she liberates cities, gathers followers, and finally sails to Westeros. But power corrupts, and her dream of breaking the cycle of tyranny turns to ashes when she burns King's Landing, forcing Jon to make a heartbreaking choice: killing her to save the realm. In the aftermath, Bran Stark is chosen as king. Sansa becomes queen in the north. Arya sails west to explore unknown lands, and Jon returns to the Wall, leaving behind the brutal Game of Thrones. But one truth remains: power shifts, rulers change, and the game never truly ends. For 8 seasons, Game of Thrones took us on a brutal, breathtaking journey through Westeros. We saw noble houses rise and fall, shocking betrayals, and battles that redefined TV history. From Ned Stark's tragic end to Daenerys' fiery destruction of King's Landing, each moment built towards a controversial finale that left fans debating to this day. But was everything as it seemed? Or were there deeper clues hidden throughout the show? The Night King's symbolism runs deep. Death personified, he represents an unstoppable ancient force much like death itself, erasure of history. His goal wasn't just destruction, but the elimination of memory, targeting Bran. This ties into real-world themes of history being rewritten or forgotten, a reflection of humanity's sins. Created by the children of the forest to fight men, he ironically becomes a force that unites warring factions. Did the cycle of violence create its own worst nightmare? The abrupt end of his arc left many questions. Was he truly the greatest threat, or just another player in a larger, unseen game? Each Stark's direwolf reflected their fate. Ghost, Jon, the only direwolf to survive, mirroring Jon's survival and isolation. Nymeria, Arya, chose a wild, independent life, much like Arya's final decision to sail west. Lady, Sansa, killed early, symbolizing Sansa losing her innocence but adapting to survive. Grey Wind, Robb, killed at the Red Wedding, mirroring Robb's brutal fate. Summer, Bran, died protecting Bran, just as summer gives way to the cold reality of winter. Shaggy Dog, Rickon, killed meaninglessly, just as Rickon met an unceremonious end. The direwolves' fates subtly hinted at the Starks' individual journeys. The Iron Throne symbolizes absolute power, but it also serves as a cautionary symbol. Those who sought it met violent ends. Ned Stark, Robert Baratheon, Joffrey, Cersei, and even Daenerys. The throne itself was forged from melted swords, representing the cost of war and conquest. When Drogon melts the throne in the final episode, it's as if he understands that power itself killed Daenerys, not Jon. This act breaks the cycle of rulers killing for the throne, though Bran's rule still leaves many questions. Bran Stark's transformation into the three-eyed raven raises deep philosophical questions about destiny. Is he a puppet of fate, or did he manipulate events to secure the throne? Consider. He knew about Jon's parentage but revealed it at a moment that led to Daenerys' downfall. He guided people's decisions in cryptic ways, nudging events rather than outright intervening. Did he foresee his own rule and allow chaos to unfold? His emotionless demeanor after becoming king suggests he transcended personal desires, but his rise to power hints at a preordained outcome. Was the real game played by him all along? Daenerys' arc was foreshadowed from the start. She always believed in destiny, yet her path was filled with choices that mirrored past tyrants. The Bell scene was set up early. In Season 2, she has a vision in the House of the Undying where she walks through the Red Keep's throne room covered in ash. Her madness wasn't sudden. She executed enemies without hesitation, crucifying Myreen's nobles, burning Randall and Dickon Tarly. The moment people no longer worshipped her, she chose fear. Was she always meant to fail? Viserys dreamed of reclaiming the throne but was unfit to rule. Did Daenerys inherit not just his dream but his fatal flaws? Her story questions whether power can ever be wielded justly or if absolute power always corrupts. The religion of Arler played a major role in reviving Jon Snow and guiding Arya to kill the Night King. But did the show ever explain its true purpose? Melisandre's prophecy. Failures. She believed Stannis was Azor Ahai, only to realize she was wrong. Did she misinterpret her visions, or is prophecy inherently unreliable? Why bring Jon back? He was revived, but for what? To unite the North? To be the prince that was promised? If so, what was his ultimate purpose beyond killing Daenerys? Did the Lord of Light just use people? Beric Dondarrion was resurrected multiple times for one purpose: saving Arya. Did the God of Fire simply manipulate events without caring for those involved? The show left these questions open-ended, suggesting that faith may guide people, but its true motives remain unknowable. Arya's training with the Faceless Men made her a lethal assassin, but their true purpose remained vague. Some intriguing theories. Did they want her to kill someone specific? Jaqen H'ghar seemed invested in her training. Was it really random, or did they have plans for her? Were they testing her to see if she'd rebel? The many-faced god represents balance in death. Did they want her to reject their teachings and forge her own path? Why didn't they try to retrieve her? She left Braavos without consequence. Did they allow it, knowing she had a greater role to play? Her arc ultimately highlighted free will versus submission to fate, making her one of the few characters who truly broke free from expectations. The series finale divided fans, but it contained deep thematic elements. Bran as king represents stability, not revolution. Instead of a radical change, Westeros chose a ruler who sees all, ensuring no one manipulates history again. Jon Snow's exile mirrors his father's fate. Like Ned Stark, he made the honorable choice and suffered for it. Yet, by returning to the free North, he finds true freedom. Sansa's queenship. The true Stark victory. The North finally achieves independence, something Ned and Robb failed to do. Sansa's rule represents resilience and wisdom. Arya's journey west. The true explorer ending. Unlike others trapped in cycles, Arya breaks free to discover the unknown. While controversial, the ending reflects history's tendency to repeat itself. Power shifts, rulers change, but the game remains. Did we miss the real ending? Game of Thrones dropped countless hints about how things would unfold. The real mystery is whether we misinterpreted them. Was Bran's rule inevitable from the start? Was Jon always meant to be an outsider? Did Daenerys' vision of the throne foreshadow its destruction all along? Early versions of Season 8 had Jon Snow fighting the Night King one-on-one. Instead, Arya landed the final blow. In an alternate ending, Daenerys wins and rules with an iron fist. Another idea had Bran revealing he knew everything that would happen, confirming him as a master manipulator. The Red Wedding was inspired by the real-life Black Dinner of Scotland, where an invited family was slaughtered. Daenerys' Mad Queen arc has parallels to historical rulers like Emperor Nero, who allegedly burned Rome. Tamsin Merchant was originally cast as Daenerys, but was replaced by Emilia Clarke. Ewan Rion, Ramsay Bolton, originally auditioned for Jon Snow. The infamous Starbucks cup in Season 8. Water bottles left in the finale. Jon is constantly torn between personal desires and duty. His exile beyond the wall mirrors his eternal struggle. He never truly belonged anywhere. Was Daenerys always fated to become the Mad Queen? Or did betrayal and isolation push her over the edge? Cersei lived her life terrified of the prophecy that all her children would die. Did that fear ultimately seal her fate? Did Bran orchestrate events to become king? He had knowledge of the future but never warned anyone. Was he a villain in disguise? Bran subtly set up the fall of Daenerys and Jon's exile. Did he play everyone to become king? Drogon took Daenerys' body east, toward Volantis, where red priests have resurrected people before. Could she return? What if the Night King wasn't evil but trying to prevent an even greater disaster? Did Bran deserve the throne, or was he just the least controversial choice? With the best claim to the throne, was Jon's exile just an excuse to remove him from power? House of the Dragon, already airing, the Targaryen Civil War 200 years before Game of Thrones. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the Hedge Knight, The Adventures of Dunk and Egg. The Jon Snow sequel, in development. Kit Harington is reportedly returning to continue Jon's story beyond the wall. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about these theories? Did Bran plan everything, or was he just lucky? Would you have changed anything in the ending of Game of Thrones? And what do you want to see in the upcoming spin-offs? Comment below with your thoughts. Hit like if you love Game of Thrones, and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite movies and TV shows. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video.